windmills. You're ruining your countries. I really mean it. It's so sad. You fly over and you see these windmills all over the place, ruining your beautiful fields and valleys and killing your birds. And if they're stuck in the ocean, ruining your oceans. Stop the windmills. And I mean, there's a couple of things I could say, but on immigration, you better get your act together, or you're not going to have Europe anymore.
Just like he said here, we're not going to have a country anymore. We're not going to have a Europe anymore, he says, if they don't get their act together on immigration. Joining us now to talk more is Republican strategist and president of Axe Advocacy, Ashlee Stephenson, as well as Democratic strategist and president of HIT Strategies, Terrence Woodbury. Always giving you both sides of the aisle here on NewsNation. Great to see you. Ashlee, I'll start with you. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that corporations are bearing the cost of tariffs and some are planning price hikes. Trump says there is a 50-50 chance that a deal will be reached with the EU. Do you think this is going to be the ultimate test for approval ratings?
Well, I don't think the ultimate test for approval ratings, but look, we're coming off of a week of excellent news, deals made with Japan, Indonesia, the Philippines. The S&P 500 closed at a record high for the 5th straight week in a row. The markets continue to rally. The president really went into this meeting going into Scotland with a sense of optimism and making very clear that he hopes on the other side of this that we're going to have a deal with the EU and be able to move forward.
I hope so. All right, Terrence, we'll stick with the Wall Street Journal. They've got a new poll that shows Democrats are getting the lowest rating from voters in decades, in 35 years. What do you think this says about the type of changes the party needs to make before the midterms?
Well, you know, we are hearing from Democrats and focus groups that we've been conducting that they want to see the party fight back. They believe that the issues, the values that they believe in are under attack, and they want to see Democrats fight back. In fact, 73% of Democrats here, they would like to see the party fight more. I do want to address the president's approval rating from that last question, though, because I do think that that his success or perceptions of success around this deal with the EU is going to is the Achilles heel of his approval rating. We see as we see the president's approval rating slipping, the only issue that used to be a strong point, his strongest issue, the economy, is now becoming one where he's underwater.
All right. Yeah, people really think about how what their grocery store prices are, their everyday cost of living, and all that he promised to bring down on the campaign trail. Ashlee, Kamala Harris is encouraging young voters to push for change. She addressed a Voters of Tomorrow summit in Washington, D.C. Let's take a listen.
You know what's at stake, and you are not waiting for someone else to figure it out. You refuse to be passive. Not only are you demanding action, you are actively shaping the future. Keep building your political power. Keep building community. Keep building coalitions. Keep challenging the status quo. And born out of our love for our country, keep fighting to build a country and a nation that works for everyone. And I look forward to continuing in the fight alongside you.
Young folks often skew Democrat, but we did see younger voters shift toward Trump in 2024, but still did favor Harris overall. How are Republicans working to gain an even larger share of that demographic while Democrats are really on their heels?
Sure. Look, well, the first thing to be mindful of is there is no voice of the Democratic Party right now. And even just to go back to that Wall Street Journal poll, you have the pollster John Anzalone, who was part of the team conducting that research, say Democrats can't even be credible to go after Republicans. So the Trump administration and all of his allies in Congress need to keep delivering. And I think selling the tax cuts, making them permanent, and what that's going to do for Americans across the country and especially small businesses is a great message to lead with. So it's honestly laughable as we see the former vice president trying to get a foothold, maybe become a good candidate to try to motivate young voters when she simply couldn't do it a year ago.
Kamala Harris still looking to be a messenger, and people are trying to figure out what's the problem. Is it the messenger or the message, and who is going to be the next messenger? Terrence, Hunter Biden recently going on a podcast bashing Democrats who pushed for his father to step aside, of course. Let's take a listen.
For some reason, the intelligentsia of the Democratic Party, with 20/20 hindsight, believes that Joe Biden should have considered not running again because of their perception that he was too old, egged on by the Pod Save America saviors of the Democratic Party. You know what George Clooney did? Because he sat down, I guess, because he was like given a blessing by the Obama team or the Obama people and whoever else, and David Axelrod and whoever the fuck else, is to go, okay, yeah, you know what? We are going to insert our judgment over yours.
For our viewers who may not listen to Pod Save America, they don't know who those bros are that he's referring to, Terrence. I guess we've lost Terrence, so I'll give this one. Are we going to keep up with Ashlee? Yes? All right, Ashlee, I'll give this one to you. Hunter Biden being a messenger here for the Democratic Party, what does that say to you?
Well, first thing, if I were Hunter Biden, he should say thank you to the Pod Save America bros, because that was the campaign, the Obama campaign, that selected his father to be the vice president, ultimately catapulting to be the president of the United States. So, you know, more Hunter Biden interviews, please. Let's do this at least once a week, because the amount of fodder and just, you know, unbelievable takeaways from that to just show how out of touch the Bidens were at the end of this presidency. It's really quite sad, and it's a major distraction for the Democratic Party as they try to get their act together.
Yeah, Terrence, what do you think about Hunter Biden? I mean, you know, he's appeared a couple of times this week and making headlines. Is this helpful or hurtful for your party?
Well, I certainly don't think Hunter Biden is going to be the spokesperson of the Democratic Party. I do think that it is incumbent upon the Democratic Party to not be the minority party, but to be the opposition party that requires action to actively oppose, to actively fight back, and most important, to present an alternative vision of the future. Not just what was wrong with the big ugly bill, but what are the bills that we would put forward? Not just that the Republican budget hurt the American people, but what would be in a Democratic budget. And I think that's what Democrats and Americans want to see from the party, not just opposition, but an alternative way of governing.
All right. Republican strategist Ashlee Stephenson, Democratic strategist Terrence Woodbury. Glad we got you back. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
18